This example is about determining whether the assumed slab thickness of 175 mm is satisfactory for panel A, B, and C as we see from the figure. To determine the adequacy of the assumed slab thickness of 175 mm, then we are to determine the minimum thickness based on this tabulation, from which we see the column for alpha sub Fm. This actually pertains to the flexural stiffness of that of the beam as well as that of the slab, which we will present later on. Okay, if for instance the average of the flexural stiffness ranges from 0.22 to 2, then we will compute for the minimum H based on the greater of this 2. Okay, this quantity here, or 125. We see here that alpha Fm is the average value of the flexural stiffness for all beams on edges of a panel, and it shall be calculated based on this section. And that in the computation of this, Ln is the clear span in the long direction measured face to face of beam in millimeters, and that beta in this case is the ratio of clear spans in long to short direction of slabs. Okay, so now in the computation of the flexural stiffness, we are to base it from this equation, that alpha F is the ratio of flexural stiffness of beam section to that of the flexural stiffness of a width or effective width of slab, okay, bounded laterally by center line of adjacent panel, if any, on each side of the beam. Okay, ECB refers to the modulus of elasticity of the concrete beam, and ECS refers to the modulus of elasticity of concrete slab, and IB is for the moment of inertia about centroidal axis of cross section of beam as defined in this section. Okay, and that IS is the moment of inertia about centroidal axis of cross section of slab. In the computation of IB, we are to refer to this section 408.418. In this section of NSEP 2015, the code acknowledges the effect of a monolithic or fully composite construction. That is, the beam and the slab act as a single unit by way of powering the concrete in beam and slab at the same time, the effect of which is some part of the slab act as an integral part of the beam. Hence, the computation of the moment of inertia, IB, of the beam will be based on this shaded cross-section, from which we see the inclusion of a certain width x, okay, and of course a certain height, the height of the slab, which is h, and x will be the lesser of these two values, hb minus h. HB, as we see, is the overall depth of the beam, and that of H is the overall depth of the slab. Whichever is lesser between that value and that of the 4H will be the value of X. And IB, the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis, will be based on this cross-section. Okay? For instances in which the beam is situated in continuous ends of the slab, as here, the computation of X will be in this manner. That is, we have two X's in here. So now we'll start determining the ratio of flexural stiffness of beam with that of the slab. And we say this to be alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, and alpha 4. We concentrate, for the purpose of this presentation, we'll concentrate on panel A. So for alpha 1, that is alpha 1 equal to PB IB divided by IS. And it was stated in this example that the modulus of elasticity of the slab, beam, and column are all the same, such that this will cancel out. And so we are focused on IB and IS. To solve for the moment of inertia of the beam, here we'll sketch the cross section of this part. So we have B2 with dimension of 300 mm by 550 mm. Okay. So suppose this is that cross section, that this is 300 mm, and that this is 550 mm. And of course, we have here the thickness of the slab, which is 175 mm. And then we are to determine the value of X. That is HB 550 minus H 175. This will give us 375, whereas this is 4H, which is equal to 700 mm. Obviously, the lesser is 375, meaning this is 375 mm. Okay, and this part of the cross section is the area on which IB will be based from. So take note that IB is the centroidal moment of inertia, meaning to say we have to determine the centroid of this cross section. Okay, and we can do that by this computation, that the area 300 by 550 plus 375 by 175 say our reference is here, and that, say this is y bar. So we have here y bar equal to 300 by 550 multiplied by, from the reference, the centroid of this area is located in the y direction, is located 550 divided by 2. Okay, plus, considering this area now, 175 by 375 multiplied by this distance plus half of 175. This distance is 375. So we have in here 375 plus half of 175. This will give us the value of 328.354 mm, say stored in memory F. So we now determine the moment of inertia. We first consider this cross-section. IB is equal to 300 multiplied by 550 cube divided by 12 plus 300 550, and then the distance of the centroid of this to the centroid of the whole cross section. This point is somewhat 275. Okay, that is the half of 550, and y bar is 328. So from here, from our reference here, y bar is way above this point. Okay, so say here, and this quantity is the distance between the centroid of the whole cross section to the centroid of this area being considered. Okay, so that is 328.354 minus 275. So that is 53.354. Okay, squared. So plus, we now consider this cross section. So that is 375 multiplied by 175 cube divided by 12 plus 375 175 multiplied by the distance of this centroid of the cross section to the centroid of the whole cross section. Okay, so that would be 550 minus 328.354. Okay, and then minus half of 175. So this will be 134.146 squared. Let us say this is in memory E and this is in memory D. Hence, IB is equal to, this is the value for IB. Okay. And say, let us store this in memory C. And now for the moment of inertia of the slab, IS, this is equal to the effective width of the slab. Okay, so if this is 7.2 meters, because take note that alpha 1 is here, and so we are to consider this portion of the slab. Okay, half of 7.2, and we take note that 7.2 is center to center of the beam cross section. Okay, so 7.2, half of that. Okay. So 7.2 divided by 2, that is 3.6 meters. And that value is referred from the center of the beam cross section, and we have to include this part of the slab, and so we are to add a value of half of 300 or 150 mm to 3,600 or 3.6 meters. Okay, so plus 150, this is 150. So the effective width of the slab would be 3,750 multiplied by the height 175 cube divided by 12. Okay, this will give us this value. Hence, alpha 1 is IB divided by IS equal to 3.569. Now, solving for alpha 2, we have to consider this cross section. We have in here B1 with a cross section of 250 by 550. So this is 550 and 250. As to the value of x, x is 550 minus 175. Of course, this is 175 mm. This is equal to 375 mm. And for h, which is equal to 700 mm. The lesser of which is 375. So this projection, which will be included as integral part of the beam, B1, this is 375 mm. we now determine the centroid of this whole cross section. Say our reference is here, and y bar is somewhere here. And so we have the area as 250 by 550 plus 375 by 175, and then y bar equal to 250 by 550. The centroid of this cross section is half of 550 if we're dealing with the y direction. So 550 divided by 2, okay, plus 375 by 175 multiplied by the distance of the centroid of this cross section with reference from our reference, which is here. So that would be 550 minus 175, which is 375 plus 1/2 of 175. Y bar is then equal to, this is equal to 335.577. Say store it in memory F. Having known the centroid of the whole cross section will enable us to determine the centroidal moment of inertia of this cross section. So IB is equal to 250 by 550 cube divided by 12 plus the area 250 by 550 multiplied by the area multiplied by the distance from the centroid of the whole cross section to the centroid of the section being considered. Okay, so here is the centroid of the cross section being considered now, which is 250 by 550. Okay, and 335 is somewhat here. Okay, so this distance, this point to this point, is simply 335.577 minus half of 550. So that is 60.577 squared. Say store this in memory E. Considering the other section, we have 375 by 175 cube divided by 12 plus 375 by 175, and the distance of the centroid of this smaller cross section to the centroid of the whole cross section. So that is 550 minus y bar. So 550 minus y bar minus half of 175 that will give us 126.923 squared. Say this is in D. Hence IB is equal to, so IB is equal to 519,537, 5100 mm to the fourth power, say stored in C. Meanwhile, IS is equal to the effective width of the slab multiplied by the cube of the depth divided by 12. But we first need to determine the effective width of the slab if we're dealing with computing for alpha 2. Okay. So since alpha 2 is at this portion of the panel, then the effective width of the slab to be considered is this portion here. That is half of 6 meter, so that is 3,000 millimeters plus half of 250. Since the distance 6 meters is reference center to center of the beam cross section. So if this is the beam center of the beam cross section, we have to consider this distance still. Okay, so this is 125 mm. Okay, so then the effective width of the slab to be considered in determining IS would be 3,000 plus 125, 3125 times 175 cube divided by 12. This will give us this value. Hence, alpha 2 would be IB divided by IS, which is then equal to 3.722. Okay. We now determine alpha 3. We do that by considering this cross section, taking note that alpha 3 is the flexural stiffness on this portion of the panel, and the cross section of the beam and slab at that portion of the panel is something like this. In which this is of course 175, and that this is 550. This is 175. Okay. Now computing for X. It's either of the two values which is lesser, 550 minus 175, which is 375 mm, or 4 times the thickness of the slab. So the value of X would be the lesser of this, 375 mm. Okay, having established the dimension of the cross section, we can then compute for the centroid of this cross section. Okay, so we have, say, consider this section first, and let us then again have our reference here. Okay, so that we have the areas. This is, by the way, B2, and so this is 300 mm. Okay, so we have the area 550 multiplied by 300 plus 175 times 375 multiplied by 2. Okay, multiplied by y bar equal to 300 times 550 and 550 divided by 2, with reference, of course, here, bottom. Say this is our y bar. Okay, plus 175 multiplied by 375. There are two cross sections of this, so we multiply this by 2 multiplied by the distance of the centroid of those smaller cross sections with reference to our reference. So that would be 375. Okay, this distance, actually this is 375 plus half of 175. Okay, from here to the center of this. Okay, we'll then determine a value of y bar equal to, okay, y bar is equal to 358.07 mm. Let us store this to memory F. With this value known, we can then determine the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis. Okay, so then IB is equal to 300 multiplied by 550 cube divided by 12 plus 300 by 550 multiplied by the square of the distance from the centroid of the cross section being considered, which is this, to the centroid of the cross section. So what is the distance of this? Okay, so that would be 358.07 minus half of 550, okay, which is 275. Okay, so that would be 83.07. We square this and we'll store this to memory E. Okay, now considering the two smaller cross sections, we then have plus 375 multiplied by 175 cube divided by 12. There are two of these cross sections, so multiplied by 2 plus 375 times 175 times 2 times the distance of the centroid of that cross section to the centroid of the overall cross-section. So that would be 550. Okay, so 550 minus y bar, okay, minus half of 175. Okay, that would give us 104.43 squared. Let's store this at memory D. Okay. So IB would be equal to, okay, this is the number for IB. Storing this at C. Now, similarly, the moment of inertia of the slab would be this portion. Okay, we are to consider this slab. Okay, if we are to determine alpha 3. Okay, so that would be half of 7.4 meter and half of 7.2 meter. Okay, so IS would be half of 7.4, so that is 3.7, and half of 7.2, so that is 3.6. So we have an effective width of 7.3 meters or 7,300 mm multiplied by the thickness 175 cube divided by 12. The number for this would be 3260, 28, 64, 58 mm to the fourth power. Store it in B, so that alpha 3 would be equal to 2.167. Okay, now for determining the value of alpha 4, we then have to consider this portion of the slab. Okay, with that, we'll have this cross section of beam and slab. Okay, this is 550, and this to be B1 with a width of 250 mm. Of course, the thickness of the slab is 175 mm. So similarly, we have to determine the dimension of X, which can be computed from this equation. The overall depth of the beam, which is 550, minus that of the overall depth of the slab, 175. This is 375 mm, and 4 times the thickness of the slab. Again, we have to use whichever is lesser. So this is 375 mm. Then, in order for us to determine the moment of inertia, then we have to locate the centroid of the cross section. Okay, so that is, we consider each of these cross sections, starting off with this. So we'll then have 550 multiplied by 250 plus twice of 375 and 175. Okay, and y bar, say y bar is here. Of course, our reference is the same, this bottom part of the cross section. And then we then have 250 by 550. The centroid of the cross section in terms of the vertical axis would be half of 550. Okay, so plus twice of 375 and 175. So these are those cross sections in which the distance of the centroid of the smaller cross section with reference to the bottom reference would be 550 minus, okay, so 550 minus half of 175. Okay. So 550 minus half of 175. So we'll get y bar is equal to 366.57. We'll store this in F. Now we can solve for the moment of inertia about the centroid. So this would be equal to, starting off with the beam cross section, we'll have 250 multiplied by 550 cubed over 12 plus the area multiplied by, okay, the distance between the centroid and that of the centroid of the cross section. So that would be 366 minus half of 550, which is 275. We'll have 91.57. We'll square this plus 375, 175 cube divided by 12. There are 2 of this, so times 2 plus 375 by 175 times 2 multiplied by, let's say, distance of the centroid of the cross section under consideration to that of the centroid of the whole cross section. By the way, we'll store this value 91.57 in memory E. Okay. So we'll have a distance of 550 minus y bar. Okay, minus half of 175. So this is 95.93 squared. So the moment of inertia of the whole cross section is 61,889. 838 mm to the fourth power. Say we store this in C. And we store 95.93, by the way, in D. Now solving for the moment of inertia of the slab, considering the portion of the panel, to solve for alpha 4, IS is equal to the effective width would be half of 6 meter and half of 6.2. So that would be equal to 6.1 meters or 6,100 mm multiplied by 175 cube divided by 12. This is equal to this number. And alpha 4 would be equal to 2.261 or 262. Okay, now we have to get the average of the flexural stiffness. So we have alpha Fm equal to alpha 1, alpha 2 plus alpha 3 plus alpha 4 divided by 4. This will give us a value of 2.93, which is greater than 2.0, from which, based on the tabulation in determining the minimum thickness of two-way slab, we then are required to use either of whichever is greater in here. Since alpha average is greater than 2, it's either this or this. Okay, so getting the value of beta, which is defined as the ratio of clear span in the long to short direction of the slab, referring to the configuration of panel A. Take note that beta refers to the clear spans. Okay, and in the configuration of panel A, we have the long span as 7.2 meters and the short span to be 6 meters. However, these dimensions are center to center, so we have to determine or get the clear span dimension of this. And so beta is equal to 7,200. Okay, we deduct the dimension of B2. Okay, B2 and B2. Okay, so that would be less 300. to get the clear span in the long direction, divided by 6,000 or 6 meters. Okay, minus, we have B1 and B1, so minus 250, and this will give us 1.2. Okay, as to L sub n, it is defined as the clear span in the long direction. Okay, long direction, clear span in the long direction, measured face to face of the beams. Okay, so this has been previously computed in the determination of beta. This is L sub n is equal to 7,200 minus 300. Okay, so we have 6,900 mm, and then we can go about substituting the values in this equation here, and after which we compare whatever value we get here in this other value of 90. Whichever is greater will be the minimum thickness of the two-way slab. We then have to substitute the values for the equation of H minimum, that is L sub n 0.8 plus Fy divided by 1,400 all over 36 plus 9 beta. So we have in here 6,900.8 plus Fy, which is 414 divided by 14 all over 36 plus 9 beta, which is 1.2. Okay, this will give us 161.55 mm, and comparing this with 90 mm, obviously this one is greater, and comparing this value 161.55 with the assumed thickness of the slab, which is 175 mm, and then we can conclude that the thickness is adequate. Okay, thickness is adequate. Okay.